Usually when I'm at a certain stage, I will pull in some references. Now these are, commercially released tracks, released in the last year. Ideally, I like to, get things that are as current as possible. And, as much as possible, I like to get them straight off CD as wave rips. I find it's the best way that you can really judge what the actual mastered level was. I like to have 4 different references, not just one reference. You don't want to base all of your EQ decisions based on, one Taylor Swift song. I guess what I do is I'll just flick through these quickly, flick back to my mix, and in my mind, I'm kind of averaging out the level. I'm averaging out the EQ. I'm just thinking, if my track came on in the mix of any of these, how does it sit? Does it sound kind of as loud? Does it sound, as bright? So that's kind of a key factor there. And that's pretty much how I'll make the decision about how hard to push this master. On occasion, it's interesting. I still haven't really worked out the exact science behind it, but on occasion you'll just find there's a mix that's just really pure and really clean, maybe because it's more sparse or has less elements, or you've just got just the right kick and the right bass, and you can just get so much level. It's like you'll have this here and you'll barely be touching it and you're already as loud as you want to be. And that's kind of the dream for mastering, when you don't have to do anything much. You don't have to change your mix. Your mix just as it was with the tiniest bit sounds really nice and really leveled. Other times you're finding, you just cannot get the level you want without getting that mush. And that's often kind of an indicator that your mix is too thick somewhere. When I'm in that situation, the first thing I'll do, as I said, is I'll go back and I'll look at my bass, the bottom end. A very common thing, or I'm almost always doing, is I'm setting my bass to sidechain with my kick. It's a very regular trick. It's very easy to do in Cubase. Every one of my kick channels here is already set up to send it to my bass sidechain. So that's always going to, kind of help the bottom end to even out a little bit. This is always set up in this way. And I just found over time, almost regardless of the style, I was sidechaining the bass to the kick every time, whether it was a country record or obviously an EDM record, you always do that. Just to give me the most consistent bottom end and, more headroom. So sometimes I'll go back and I'll tweak that. I will, make that sidechain more, I'll make that pump more, so it frees up the bottom end. Sometimes I'll take out some low end out of the bass. Another thing I'm very commonly doing is I will go through my synth pads or my guitars or my acoustic, and I'll start pulling out low end. I'll start pulling out mud. You're often surprised by, you'll have heavy guitars in the mix, or you'll have a pretty thick kind of synth pad, and you can pull so much low end out before you hear it. And I'm always surprised by how much you can do. Your ears just tend to fill it in with the bass and the other elements. The less that you have that's kind of operating in that low end region tends to, free up your mix, just allow you to get a little bit more mastering level out of it.